So welcome to this session. It's about TeacherMatic, the user-friendly AI platform for education. And what we're looking at here is what we're going to do is we're going to give you a bit of an introduction as to where TeacherMatic comes from, the background to it, how we've developed it. Esam is going to do a demonstration, a live demonstration showing TeacherMatic in action. And then we're going to talk a bit about the impact of TeacherMatic across a number of organisations that are using it. And we'd be delighted to take questions. So if you want to type any questions as they come in the chat, we'll either pick them up live or we will pick them up at the end. So just brief introductions. My name is Peter Kilcoyne. I'm the Managing Director of TeacherMatic. Just Esam, do you want to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Peter. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this session. My name is Esam Babu Khan, and I am the Marketing Director at TeacherMatic.
Okay, and we're both two of the four founders of the company. And something else I think is important that we know. We are, we find it odd introducing ourselves as director of a company. We're both lifetime people who've been working in education. Myself, mainly in further and higher education since 1986, in a range of roles, teaching and managing. And Esam, teacher and manager since?
Yeah, I spent over 20 years in the classroom. I had different roles during those 20 years. I was a lecturer teaching on the BTEC level 3 mainly, and then I became an advanced practitioner where my role was to support my colleagues in improving teaching, learning, and assessment. And then in the last few years, in that 20 years, I was an e-learning manager. So I used to support my colleagues in improving teaching and learning through the use of educational technology.
Okay, thank you very much, Esam. Okay, so I want to start kind of rolling the clock back 3 or 4 years, when myself and Esam first started looking at generative AI, things like ChatGPT. We could see that this technology offered massive benefits, particularly around time saving for busy teaching staff, and therefore for improving teachers' health and well-being. Across organisations, we felt this would have impact on staff recruitment and retention. It also sort of offers great creativity. This technology can give you great new ideas as to how to plan work, deliver work, create activities, create assessments, etc. And overall, we saw that this technology had a great potential for improving teaching, learning, and assessment. But there was a big but, and as Esam said, we both our last significant roles in education were supporting staff in large colleges using learning technologies. We're very experienced in working with teachers, and it was pretty clear to us that when you look at things like ChatGPT, you're presented with a blank screen and a prompt, and it's like, what do I do with that? How is this going to be of use to me? And the problem with these things like ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, etc., is you've got to be very good at this thing called prompt engineering, and that's not straightforward. So, and it was clear when myself and Esam and our colleagues discussed it, our less confident in IT and digital teaching colleagues would really struggle with all of these things that you have to do prompt engineering, to get pedagogically sound content from these large language models. And so it struck us that a platform that took all of that out of it and just gave people simple tools to use for the everyday tasks that you do as a teacher. While we started as TeacherMatic, we've now got a whole load of tools for managers, business support staff, and staff across educational organisations. So it is no longer just TeacherMatic. And so this is how we thought the response of a lot of teachers when they see all of those things that you need to do with prompt engineering is, how do I do all of that? So we started to look at putting TeacherMatic together. And one of the key things that we want to stress is that this is built by educators for educators. So we're not coming at this as a sort of geeky AI people bringing tools to you. We're bringing this tool to you as educators. And we've used what we call our co-design model. So the idea we've had from day one is this platform has been designed and built in partnership with educators. So we initially started, the four of us, working with 3 teacher training managers. We built a prototype. We rolled that prototype out across 50 teachers. We got them to use it, got them to give us feedback. We improved the platform. We then went to 350 teachers, got them to use it, feedback. We improved the platform further, and then we released it. And since we released it, we've implemented many, many changes, many new generators, and all of the ideas come from our users. So people from schools, from colleges, from universities say, I'd like a tool that does X, Y, or Z, or I would like to see this tool improved in that way. And then we work with practitioners in developing those new tools or improving our existing tools. So everything we've done is designed in this partnership co-design model. So why should you consider TeacherMatic? Well, there are many reasons, but I think the three of the key reasons for looking at TeacherMatic: it gives you a very secure platform, and that's very important. And a lot of people come to us because they're concerned about their teaching staff using all sorts of different AI tools, and particularly if you're using the free versions of things like ChatGPT and Copilot, you are feeding the large language models. Anything you put in is going into their models. You're losing control over it. And so with TeacherMatic, you've got a very secure platform. You're not feeding any large language models. It's hosted on UK servers. We have content filtering, so it filters out any ethically dubious content. You've got single sign-on with Microsoft or Google, so your staff don't have to learn any new usernames or passwords. And anything that you upload on that is protected. It goes nowhere. So your data, your intellectual property is all secure. It offers ease of use, so much easier to use than using things like ChatGPT, Copilot, and Gemini, because you don't have the prompt engineering to worry about. And finally, the cost. Typically, if you've got more than 50 people in your organisation and want licenses, it's £30 per user, whereas licenses for things like Copilot, ChatGPT, you're talking about £20 a month, whereas we are £30 a year, so vastly cheaper. Want to emphasize here that we have tools for all sorts of different roles in education. So when we launched, we had 18 generators tools. We've now got over 150, and just over half of these are for teaching staff, but we've got all sorts of tools for leaders, for quality, for HR, for marketing, admin, assessors, and careers. So all different roles across education are covered by TeacherMatic. Now, how is TeacherMatic used? Isam will give you a more detailed demonstration shortly, but we have tools for helping with planning, for creating content, for learning activities, for creating assessments. Perhaps the most important generator that we've released about 6 months ago and is now our most used generator is our feedback generator, which you can upload and mark student work, and it gives you detailed feedback and will grade it. We've got tools to support communication, quality improvement, marketing, HR, and senior leaders. Just a few key facts before I hand over to Isam. We were launched in 2023. We've got over 150 of these different generators. We currently have over 300 organisations across the UK and also some internationally. We're very proud that we've got over 50 colleges in North Carolina that have just this week renewed their subscription to TeacherMatic, and over 60,000 users globally. Right, we're going to do a small demonstration now. That's our cheesy dad joke of a picture of a small demonstration. And I'm going to hand over to Isam now, who's going to demonstrate TeacherMatic.
Thank you very much, Peter. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep, it's all clear.
Excellent. So, as Peter said, it is a co-design model. When we first launched, Peter said it was 18 generators. We now have over 150 plus generators. As you saw from the chart that Peter shared, many of these generators are, of course, for teachers, but we've got generators that are suitable for all the different roles within an organization. So if you look towards the top right here, you can see all the roles here. And essentially, what this is going to do is going to filter out the generators based on all of these different roles. Today, we're going to do a deep dive on a couple of generators just to give you a glimpse of what TeacherMatic can do. I don't know about you, but when I was in the classroom and a teacher, I used to spend my evenings, especially Sunday evenings, planning, marking, and all sorts of things. And I think one of our best sort of quotes from our customers is that she said, "I've got my Sunday afternoons back." And just to let you know, on average, 2 in 5 teachers are working 26 hours for free per week. So what we're trying to do is give you some of that time back, but just as crucially, improve teaching, learning, and assessment. So I would suspect at this stage of the academic year, you're probably going to want to do schemes of work. So the first one I'm going to show you is the schemes of work. So I'm going to go to the search box. I'm going to write the word scheme in there. It's a very easy to use platform, by the way. There's my schemes of work generator. I click on the use button. Now, if it's a generator I'm going to use on a regular basis, what I would recommend is you click on the heart icon, so then you can go and favorite that generator. Once you do that, you just click on the use button. You'll get this pop-up window. There'll be a few mandatory fields. You complete them. You click the button generate, and as easy as that, you're done. So let me show you what we're going to do. We are going to generate a schemes of work based on a unit that I used to teach. So let me just show you real quick what that unit looks like. Okay, this is the unit that I used to teach. It was the BTEC level 3, BTEC level 3 in IT, and this particular unit is the one that I used to teach, okay? It used to be called Unit 3, Using Social Media and Business. So I'm going to copy that title there. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it in the browser just to make life much easier so you can see what's going on. Edge, there you go. There's the unit, right? So we've got our unit, and normally the teacher would get this unit spec from the awarding body. We're just going to copy this title, and we're going to also copy the overall qualification there. So I'm just going to go back to my schemes of work generator. There it is. So the course title essentially is this one here. So it's the BTEC level 3 certificate in IT. It's going to be a single unit, and my module is using social media and business. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to upload the unit spec. As easy as that. So I'm just going to navigate to where that unit spec is. And there it is. And I'm just going to click on upload. Right, there we go. I could complete all of these fields, and the more you put in, the more contextualized and more relevant the output is going to be, right? So, but I'm just going to ignore that for now. I'm going to put 18 sessions in here, right? So it's 18 sessions, and in the layout, I'm going to choose my own TeacherMatic layout. You can upload, by the way, your own schemes of work template. So the length of the lesson on average is 90 minutes. I'm going to stick with that. It's going to be further education. Now, if we had time, we'd fill out more about learners and more about teaching, because I'll get better contextualized schemes of work. But just to show you how easy this is, we click on generate. Let's look at this. I do want my heading section there, and just click on generate. While this is generating, just to let you know, as Peter said, we're a co-design model. We're very receptive to feedback. So I'm using this generator, and I can tell you for a fact this has been improved over the last couple of weeks. Even today, I'm looking at some of the options, and they've even been developed further. So although we might launch a generator, we're continuously improving these generators based on the feedback that we receive from our community. So there you go. There is our initial schemes of work, and we like to describe TeacherMatic as a strong first draft. right? So what you could do here is if we scroll all the way down, you can see this refine functionality that we've rolled out in many of our generators. And I'll give you an example. Please add numeracy, literacy, and employability skills in my sessions. And essentially what that's going to do is going to go back into this the schemes of work and then add what I've just asked it to do. So you can keep refining the results until you are happy with them. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Something that would have taken me many, many hours to do, by the way. While it's doing this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click on this and duplicate a tab. And then the next one I'm going to show you. How long do I have left, Peter?
Oh, you've got plenty of
I've
time.
got
I
plenty
think,
of
you know,
time. Okay, brilliant.
yeah.
So let's just go back to the schemes of work. And after I've refined it, you can see what it's done. It's embedded now literacy and employability skills, and it'll embed numeracy if I asked it for. I don't think I did, but wherever it's relevant, it'll also embed their numeracy. So now I can take one of these weeks. Let's copy one of these weeks. Let's go for types of social media. So I'm just going to copy this, Control C. I'm also going to copy this here. So I'm just going to right click on copy that. Over here, I'm probably going to want a detailed lesson plan. So I'm just going to write the word lesson plan in the search box. Once it shows up, I'm going to launch the generator. There we go. And whoops, my mistake. Do that again. Launch the generator. Remember, you've got a few mandatory fields. You're going to have to fill them out. So my lesson topic is going to be types of social media platforms. Over here, this is my area of study. I can even choose a layout. And if you have your own lesson plan template, you could also use that. I'm just going to use the standard TeacherMatic layout here. Change that to 90 minutes. Where it says any additional information, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste exactly what I copied from the schemes of work, right? Choose my sector, and we are suitable for all of the different sectors. For example, if I now click on primary, you'll see now the learner age range shows up. If I click on secondary, that will show up there too. And if I click more about teaching, I can even click on the curriculum alignment, and it will give me all the different key stages in here too, and all of the different subjects. Okay, I'm going to turn that off and just focus on my own area, my own experience, which is further education. So as easy as that, we can change even the learning environment. So for example, if I was, God forbid, teaching during lockdown in COVID, I can change that to an online environment, and the lesson plan will reflect the online environment. You can see we've got many different learning environments, and this is because we've gotten feedback from many primary schools and secondary schools that these are the common learning environments. Now, if you don't see your learning environment listed here, you can go all the way to the bottom and describe that location. For this example, I'm going to say it's not relevant. And then what we could do here is we could add some suggestions on. So I definitely want British values, something that Ofsted looks out for, promoting cultural capital. And I might even say here, employability skills. Now, with many of our generators, you also have the ability to upload files. So if you had, for example, a PowerPoint presentation in relation to this subject, you can upload that and it will generate a lesson plan for you. You can also, if you like, get a transcript from any video platform and paste that transcript there. And it will generate a lesson plan based on that transcript. Here, because we've just rolled out this feature, we're going to change the labeling, but believe it or not, you can also paste a YouTube URL in here and it will generate a lesson plan based on the transcripts of that video. So the last thing we're going to do is choose our pedagogical model. As you can see, we are very pedagogically focused in here. So we're going to choose, for this example, Bloom's, considering it's the most widely used. We'll go for Bloom's and select all the different domains. And because we want to differentiate, we'll do some of the lower level learning and we'll go for some of the higher level learning. So once we fill this out, as easy as that, we just click on generate. And I can tell you for a fact, especially when I used to get observed in lessons, it used to take me hours and sometimes days to create a comprehensive lesson plan. And this is literally going to create it in minutes. But as we said, it's not meant to replace what you do, but only complement what you do. So it's a starting point. So let's look at the lesson plan. And as easy as that, it's given us our objectives based on those Bloom's domains. It's given us our differentiation, which I didn't select. I should have. I should have shown you how we could have selected dyslexia, ADHD. We could have
We've got time for you to go back and do that, Isam.
Yeah, thank you. So if we go all the way back here and go to more about learners, here we can put a learner group profile. So for example, although it's not related to this, I could put something like this in here, right? I'm going to remove it because it's not related to this lesson. So most teachers will have a group profile. You can paste that in there. And then over here is the learning needs. So you can see we've got a comprehensive list of learning needs. And if they're not listed here, you can go all the way to the bottom, click on specific learning difficulties and describe them here. So I'm going to go for dyslexia. I'll go for ADHD and I'll go for, I used to teach a student with a hearing impairment. So let's go for that. There you go. Over here is stretch and challenge. So I would definitely recommend you select both of these. Right, there we go. Let's regenerate. And you'll see now these additional fields will now be reflected in the lesson plan. You can see on the right-hand side, it's suggesting a number of resources for us. And we can do this with the vast majority of generators that we have. For example, we've got a PowerPoint generator, right? Over here, it says printed research data. Let's just go up. Printed research data. Oh, it's changed it now. Research handouts, access to devices for online research, printed data sheets. But what you can see now, if we go to differentiation, is you can see now the differentiation based on those learning needs. Okay. So if we just scroll through, as I said, we've got generators that will create these resources for you. But sometimes there's going to be a resource that we don't have a specific generator for it, because that wouldn't be possible, because we'll have thousands and thousands of generators. When you find yourself in that scenario, what you could do, for example, like this one here, we do have a case study generator, by the way. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to duplicate this tab. And I want to introduce you to one of our most versatile generators that there is. And essentially what this generator does is it mimics ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, and the likes of that, okay? And as Peter said, we're GDPR compliant. All our servers are in the UK, and we don't train the large language models with your data. So that's really, I think, our main differentiator here when it comes to this chat bot. So I'm just going to click on use. I'm going to do a simple prompt, right? And normally, the more context you give these large language models, the better. And I'll show you what I mean. The first thing that you really should do is give it a role. So I'm going to give it a role and say, I am a further education lecturer teaching the Unit 3 Social Media and Business, and I am delivering the following topic. Please create the resources for me. Right, I'm using voice dictation. I do that a lot with these chatbots. If you're wondering how to get voice dictation out, it's a beautiful shortcut, and you just press Windows H to get the voice dictation. So all I've done is given it a role and given it some details, as you can see. The next thing I'm going to do is paste exactly what I copied from my lesson plan. I'm just going to dump it in there. Once I've dumped it in there, I'm going to send that to the chatbot, and it's going to create me the resources that I've just requested. So while that's doing that, you can see we can now create all of these resources here. And the next one we're going to do after I show you this is we're going to go and do a deep dive on the quiz generator. One of my favorites, by the way. So look what you can do. It's giving you resource one. It's giving you a case study. It's giving you even this template here. It's giving you activity questions. It's really done everything we want and more, by the way. And it's even given us a PowerPoint sort of guidance, what should be in our slides. Okay, so just to let you know, we can do so much with this chatbot. It's just so incredibly powerful. Let me show you one example that you can do. I'm going to upload an image. So I'm going to go to my pictures, and I'm going to show you this healthy dish before I upload it. Right? There's this healthy dish. Imagine I'm delivering my tutorial on healthy living, right? What I would like is I would like this to be part of my tutorial. So I'm going to upload this image, and I'm going to say, create me a worksheet based on the image. There you go. Send it through. And in literally seconds or less than a minute, we're going to get a very good worksheet based on this image. So you can imagine the use case scenarios. For example, if I'm a plumber, construction, motor vehicles, I can upload any of the tools and create worksheets based on this image. So look at this. What foods can you identify on the plate? What colors do you notice in the food? What do you think having a variety of colors in there? The food groups, thinking about, so you can see it's really good. Something that would have taken me definitely over an hour. Okay. Very, very powerful. And you can upload any type of file here, including spreadsheets, Word documents, and you can even get it to summarize it for you. So let's now, Peter, let's now jump into, as I said, one of my favorite generators. And that one is really the quiz generator. So I'm just going to write the word quiz in there, launch my quiz generator. We can put a few keywords in here, click on 10 questions, click generate, and as easy as that, it will generate a multiple choice quiz for you. But we're going to take this much further. Okay, so as easy as that, there's your multiple choice quiz, which you can export to many, many different formats. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at actually exporting it to Microsoft Forms. But you have all of these formats here. So what we're going to do this time is, believe it or not, we are going to create a quiz based on a video, a YouTube video. So if I just show you what that video looks like, it's all about algorithmic bias. So there's my video. All right, all about algorithmic bias. I want to create a flipped classroom activity for my students. I want them to watch this video and I want a quiz associated with that video. So when they come into my classroom, we can do some of the higher end of Bloom's taxonomy, analyze, create, evaluate, do some, group work. So we're trying to maximize classroom time by using this flipped classroom model. So let me show you how that works. We grab this YouTube URL here. We go back to our quiz generator. Okay, there it is. I'm just going to scroll down and click where it says more about teaching. Can you see that? Where it says more about teaching, we've got this box, this field where we can paste this YouTube video. Correct? We go all the way up. We're going to put 10 questions in here. Where it says topic, you can see it's a mandatory field. It means I have to put something here. A little trick I like to use, because I want the quiz solely based on that transcript, is I'm going to put a full stop in there. Even if you put a few keywords, you can see it will take it from the transcript. But I like to put a full stop there, okay? And as easy as that, we click generate. And in literally seconds, we're going to have now a quiz based on that YouTube video. You have to ensure that that YouTube video does have a transcript, and the vast majority do, by the way. And there you go. We've got now a quiz based solely on that video, but we're going to even take it further, believe it or not. So what we're going to do is we are going to use this additional information box here, and I'm just going to paste this here, and essentially all it's saying is that I'm going to make each multiple choice question related to industry, an industry scenario, right? And the distractors, the choices, should represent errors or misunderstandings that trainees often make, right? So I scroll down, look at the questions now, and I can use this to differentiate, by the way. So I can send this quiz to my lower level learners, and some of my more higher level learners, I might send them this quiz here. So I'm going to click on regenerate, and you'll see what happens now to the questions. While it's doing that, let me just show you how easy this is going to be to export it. And in this example today, I'm going to show you Microsoft Forms. Okay, there it is. Look at the questions. Much more complex. Let me zoom in so you can see. A company is using an image recognition algorithm to sort photos. They notice, you can see, it's definitely more complex. So what we're going to do is we're going to export this into Microsoft Forms. And to do that, we need to export it to a Word document. I'm going to save this in a folder. I'll just call this 4 so I remember what it is. Once I've exported it as a Word document, I need now to log on to Microsoft Forms. I can log on to Microsoft Forms by just typing in forms.office.com. Okay. Once I'm logged in, this is Microsoft Forms. In case you don't know what Forms is, it's very similar to Google Forms. It's a survey and quiz tool. Traditionally, what we had to do to create a quiz, we'd have to go to new quiz and manually do all of this. It would have taken you at least an hour to do. We don't have to do that anymore. All we need to do is just click on this quick import button here. Navigate to where our file is. There it is, number 4. Double click there, click on quiz, and in literally 5 to 6 seconds, you have this quiz based on that YouTube video. But we're going to take this even further. Click on start review. There's our quiz. Right, self-marking. Right, you can use it as a starter, you can use it as a plenary, but we're going to use this as a flipped classroom activity, okay? So we're going to give this quiz with a video to our students, so when they walk into the classroom, they're already prepared to do some more advanced learning. So to do that, what we're going to do, and you can do this in any platform, by the way, you can do this in Google Forms, you can do this on your VLEs, Moodle, really doesn't matter. It's the concept here. So I'm going to insert a new question. It's going to be a text type question. And I'm going to say to my students, summarize algorithmic bias in 200 words or more. There you go. There's a question that is asking them to summarize it in 200 words or more. I'm going to make this a long answer. I'm going to push this question to be number 1. Right? Now, this is where the magic happens. I'm going to click on this button. And you've got this functionality, by the way, in all the other platforms. You can insert videos. So I'm going to click on this, insert a video, and I'm going to insert that same video I used to generate the quiz. And as easy as that, we now have a flipped classroom activity where you're going to assign it to your learners before the lesson. They watch the video, they summarize this, and then answer the questions. Then when they come into the classroom, what you could do is regenerate. So you've got now a starter activity, you know, following up from the flipped classroom activity. And the beauty of this is that you're going to get all of that analytics in the back end, and you'll be able to identify who's completed the quiz, who hasn't, and which of the questions were your students struggling in. All right.
Hey, Sam, do you want to show the other export options in the multiple choice?
Yep, as I said, it does export to many different other platforms, Google Forms, Moodle, Kahoot. This used to be called Quizzes. This is quite popular. So organizations have reached out to us and said, wouldn't it be wonderful if you can export to this? And we've done it. So the most popular platforms are there listed.
And this is very much an example of our co-design model, where this tool initially just produced questions, and then over time we've been asked, can we export to X, Y, and Z? And then they've come.
Absolutely. And we can even take this further, by the way. I can use the refine. As I said, that refine is exceptionally powerful. And I can say, make these questions progressively harder. Refine, and now the questions will become progressively harder. Peter, how long do I have left? I could be here all day,
I know
tomorrow
you
and
could.
next week.
What about maybe quickly showing the feedback
Absolutely,
generator?
yeah.
I
All
think
right.
I then move on.
Yep. So I'm just going to right click again, duplicate tab. I'm going to write the word feedback in the search box. By the way, just to let you know, this was an area I found very, very challenging. So in the classroom, I used to love giving feedback, over the shoulder feedback, verbal feedback, in the moment feedback. But as soon as I left that classroom, I simply didn't have the time to give detailed feedback. And it was an area, honestly, that really did require improvement, sort of in what I used to do. I simply didn't have the time. Now, if I had this generator in my days, this would have been an absolute game changer. So I've just written the word feedback in there. I'm going to launch the generator here. Right. So you can upload your assignment brief, by the way. So that's what I'm going to do. So if you upload your assignment brief, it will become more accurate. So I'm just going to click on upload file, navigate to my files. So I'm going to come in here, go into, now I've lost count over here. Let's go to training. There's my demo files. So I'm going to upload now the assignment brief. Okay, so click there. So I've uploaded my assignment brief. The next thing I need to do is upload the student's work. And very, very soon you'll be able to bulk upload students' work, so you don't have to do it one by one. And believe it or not, you can also upload a scan or a photo of a student's work. So for example, you know, art or any other subject, you can also upload that. So I'm going to upload now the student's work. there's the student submission, double click there. So the next thing it's going to ask me is what type of feedback do you want? So we can give some basic summary advice, detailed formative feedback, formal summative feedback. And we do recommend that obviously that you shouldn't use AI to grade students' work, and there has to be human oversight with everything. With great power comes great responsibility. So make sure there is human oversight in everything that you do with AI. So what we're going to do is let's give some detailed formative feedback here. How should the work be graded? I am going to say don't grade the work, just feedback only, but you've got loads of options here. You can upload your own rubric. You can use our rubric. You can select a grading scale or use the unit or similar specification as the basis for grading. So I'm just going to say in this instance, don't grade the work. Select your region, select the level, go for level 3. And as easy as that, click on generate, something that I would have pulled my hair out with this, by the way. And it would have taken me, at least an hour to give this detailed feedback. And then obviously what I would do is ensure that this is a true reflection of the student's work. Make sure that it is a fair judgment of the student's work. I might go and personalize it and do everything else here. But as you can see, in literally minutes, we can now have this detailed feedback. And then if I wanted, I could say, please personalize this feedback to a student called Peter and make it in first person. Click on refine. Now it'll go through that feedback, and wherever it thinks it should go and personalize it with a student called Peter, it will do that. This, is an absolute game changer. Peter, your submission demonstrates a good understanding of the technical features and applications of both digital graphics and animations. Well done, Peter.
Thank you.
All right. So there you go. Brilliant. And I would have loved to show you more because there is so much more, but hopefully this gives you a taste of the capability of TeacherMatic. When you do adopt TeacherMatic, we also provide you with resources. So we have a course called Getting Started with TeacherMatic, which is an online, let me start again, which is a free online self-paced course. And if you complete it successfully by getting 70% on the assessments, which are just basically quizzes testing you on what you've learned in each of the modules, you'll get awarded a certificate. So this is the course, and I can share this with you in the link so you get an idea of what the course is, right? And if I scroll the way down, you can also see the course outline and the modules and what we cover here. Also, as an institution, if you adopt TeacherMatic, we also provide you another resource. And this resource is essentially for roles that are responsible for rolling out new technology. So we also support you with a rollout strategy guide. So you'll be supported with that in rolling out TeacherMatic effectively based on this change management framework called ADKAR. And essentially, it guides you through this ADKAR framework where it tells, it advises you of what you should do at each stage. So in addition to, you signing up to TeacherMatic, where you will get an online free session, you're also going to be supported with the TeacherMatic course and this rollout guide too. Let me also share that with you here in the chat pane. And I'm also going to share with you the links page. And just to let you know, you're also supported with additional resources. So for example, I do these deep dive Wednesdays, and they happen on the first Wednesday of each month from 1 to 1:45. And it's based on pedagogical themes. So yes, we do use the generators in TeacherMatic, but that's to support some teaching and learning strategies. We've been doing that for now a couple of years. They are quite popular, and it really is, to support our teachers maximizing the benefits of TeacherMatic. For example, I thought one of my deep dives was very useful in how do you get an outstanding grade in a lesson observation. So I went through all the generators that you could use in order to prepare for that, lesson observation. So those are the deep dives, and they happen on the first Wednesday of each month. You can sign up here. We also have community webinars that happen once every term. These ones are really exciting, I think. It's because we invite our community, and a couple of institutions showcase their use of TeacherMatic and the impact it's had on their organization. They're very well attended. We've got a newsletter also. Recommend that you sign up to that. And because this is a continuously evolving platform and there are continuous updates to the platform, and because we have so many events and webinars, you'll get all the latest by joining this newsletter. Okay, lots of resources, a YouTube channel. And of course, everything that we do in terms of webinars gets recorded and uploaded to the deep dive. And just to let you know, as a thank you for attending this session, you will get this recording, and you will also get a 2-week trial, a free 2-week trial to access the TeacherMatic platform. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Isam. Okay, I'll take over from here.
And if you have any questions, please do post them in the chat pane, and I'll try and answer them for you.
Excellent. So just want to finish off by sharing some typical feedback and some overall sort of evaluative points about TeacherMatic. So we get loads of positive feedback from our customers, and these are 3 of our favourite quotes that have come back to us over the last couple of years. So this software has been a game changer for many staff, saving those using it well upwards of 6 to 8 hours of preparation and research time per week. So that's the Director of Digital and Professional Development at a large college. I think this is our very favourite one because it just summarises it. And both myself and Isam, as ex-teachers, we completely get this, that sitting at home on a Sunday with a pile of marking, a pile of prep to do, you lose your weekends often as a teacher. And this teacher just said, thank you, I've got my Sunday afternoons back. And then another one, and I hope you're maybe feeling a bit like this today. I've never been so blown away by something after 30 years. So this is a senior leader, having implemented TeacherMatic, seen its impact on their staff, saying it's a real game changer for the whole organisation. So we do have some videos, but unfortunately we're having some issues with the sound. So bear with me while I whiz through those. We did win. We're very proud of this. It's like the Oscars for digital technology and digital education. The most innovative learning technologies product of the year. Now, and this was, basically TeacherMatic started by 4 guys, coming out of education. We're up against big multinational banks, Sky TV, Lloyds Bank, Barclays, big multinational companies. And we won the award for the most innovative product. And the judges said that this brilliant solution makes AI approachable and usable for a large, non-technical audience. So they got our whole point was we wanted to make using AI very easy for teachers who are not technically skilled. There's been a lot of research carried out by ourselves and other people about how much time TeacherMatic saves. So JISC have done a couple of projects, found an average of 2 hours a week. The Code Institute did a report on TeacherMatic that came up with a saving of 4 hours per week. Our own user survey, which was carried out a while ago now, and I think we would get a higher figures because this was before we did the feedback generator, which is now our most popular generator and saves a massive amount of time. But around about 3.8 hours a week we showed with that. And we get individual organisations doing their own surveys, and typically those tend to fall within the 4 to 8 hours per week. So it does save significant time for those using it. And there are JISC, and hopefully most of you will be familiar with JISC, who support further and higher education organisations using technology, have done, the National Centre for AI have done research both in FE and in HE, where they paid for organisations to have licenses. They've written reports on that, both very complimentary reports with some recommendations, and all of the recommendations in those reports we have implemented. And we are currently in the process of doing a third pilot with JISC around assessment, and particularly on the feedback tool. And JISC are very interested in researching the impact of that. So thank you very much for coming.